All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of TINGLIVE. Today, our guest in the studio is none other than Jason Matthews. And I've brought Jason in today because a lot of people have been asking me about the short-term rental or Airbnb. So I know he's an expert in the field. He owns several of them. And actually, we own a property together, so I wanted to bring him into the studio. So welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Thanks for having me this morning.
Absolutely. So thanks for coming in. So the big thing, Airbnb or corporate or short-term rental.
Yes.
Why is it so lucrative and why is everybody going crazy? What's the nostalgia?
I think it's the ease of transaction. I think that everyone's really fallen in love with. And it's a great economic engine where you can really create a lot of microeconomies for individuals. Mm-hmm. You may have a couch, you may have an air mattress, you may have a room, you may have an entire house, you may have an apartment complex, and all of those fit on the short-term rental / corporate rental platform.
Okay. All right, so just to give you guys a little bit of background on my friend Jason here. So Jason's been in the real estate business for over 24 years. He spans, residential and commercial development, private and public projects, family-owned business, and international corporate strategies. I mean, this guy has done everything. I know when I met Jason, what did we meet, 2 years ago?
About 2.5 years ago.
About 2.5 years ago, we actually did a project together that we still have because it was a great rehab that turned out to be a phenomenal short-term rental.
Absolutely.
Right? We were just talking off camera that even the city tries to rent it from you for corporate fundraisers, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, just unbelievable stuff. I mean, I know just in 2018, you flipped over, 20 properties?
Yeah, we bought and renovated 26 properties in the last 2 years, which was a lot of work. But we got it done.
Absolutely. So, and that being said, so Jason obviously figured out that maybe there's an easier way, right?
Yeah,
and chasing down contractors at Home Depot and going to check on them all the time?
Absolutely. The short-term rental platform makes it much more efficient and easier from a cash flow standpoint rather than buying, renovating, and selling properties, which I've done several times over the last 24 years.
Okay. All right. So give me the story, Jason. How did you get into the short-term rentals?
Well, before my wife and I moved the kids here to the Tampa region, a good friend of mine that was involved in Major League Baseball told me when we moved to this region that short-term rentals was a very, very lucrative opportunity. Okay. And so we started to study it before we even moved, and we were just looking for the correct property management. Like, that's huge. Like, the way that you handle your properties and manage your properties is extremely important. Yeah. So we were actually able to find two very good qualified property managers that made it very easy for us once we identified that we were going to transition these properties into short-term rentals.
Okay, all right, so that's a lot you just unpacked there. So it sounds like management is key.
Management is very, very key.
And there's a select process that you go through when you're finding these properties.
Absolutely. When we take a look at, do we want to buy a property or lease a property, we take a look at, is it near what I call an unlimited amenity? Is it near a downtown? Is it near a beach? Is it near a football stadium or baseball park? Sure. Is it near a very vibrant commercial district?
Hospital, a college.
Hospitals, hospital systems are big. Yeah. Is it near a college or university? So you really want to be near an unlimited amenity that functions, 12 months throughout the year. Yep. And you have a consistent flow of guests that are very interested in your property.
Absolutely. Okay, so that actually jumps right into my next question. So what is your strategy?
Well, the strategy is basically, we like to see a minimum of 3 bedrooms. Mm-hmm. Again, there's people that are successful with air mattresses in one room and things of that nature. Yeah. Our strategy is really 3 to 5 bedroom houses, anywhere from 1.5 to 4 bathrooms. Okay. One example I'll give you is we have a house very adjacent to a golf course. So you want at least 4 bedrooms because golfers usually golf in foursomes.
Absolutely.
So
yes, we do.
Yes. Either the ladies or the guys are looking for a golf weekend. You want 4 bedrooms. Everyone has their own bedroom. Yep. They have a foursome. They play golf throughout the weekend. They have a great time. Yep. And it works out very well.
Absolutely. Okay. Hey, that's key strategy there. That's key strategy. All right, well that's great, Jason. So now let's jump into what has been your challenges, because I'm sure it's not all glitz and glamour, and it's a ton of money just falling in on you like an ATM.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Kind of tell everybody some of the real life challenges that you've ran into, running your short-term rental business.
Absolutely. I think property management is really key. You have a lot of phenomenal, long-term rental managers that really know what they're doing. But short-term rentals is hospitality. It's
Yes.
a totally different world.
Yes.
So having a tenant is very different than having a guest.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
And so really you want your property management company to really be able to take care of and manage and control the property, because you don't want your guests to become a nuisance in the community or neighborhood
Absolutely.
or wherever the property may be located.
Code enforcement called on you.
Exactly. So we're very big on being proactive. So the property management company introducing themselves to the neighbors on either side of the property, I think, is key.
Yeah.
Here's our contact information. Here's what we're about. Here's
Being
what we stand
proactive.
for. Here's our rules and regulations with
Absolutely.
the property.
Yep.
I think that that's very important, because you're showing the neighbors in the neighborhood that you really care,
Yeah.
and that you're really monitoring and paying attention to what's
You're not trying to
what's
abuse
going
their
on.
neighborhood
Absolutely.
for the dollar, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other challenges that you've had or that you ran into? Like any parties in any of your units? Anybody bash anything up on you?
Well, fortunately, to this point, we haven't had any significant property damage or any law enforcement engagement or anything of that nature.
Okay.
But I think it's like with anything else in hospitality. Hotels have issues. Short-term rentals, you're going to have an occasional issue every now and then. But if you have really good hands-on management, I think you can limit it. Keep it to a minimum, I should say.
Okay.
I think Airbnb's platform does a really good job of screening, your guests that are coming to stay.
Sure.
I think that that's very helpful.
Yeah.
And just like with anything else, I think you just have to really stay on top of it.
Okay.
And be ready to replace linens, bedspreads,
Yeah.
pillows is a big
Bunch of
one.
shampoo, bunch of conditioner,
You gotta,
pots and
gotta be
pans.
ready. Yeah. Sometimes your guests don't leave those things behind, and you have to be ready.
Oh, they're taking them with you.
Like,
Hey, just like a regular
just
hotel,
like a
right?
hotel- like I said, it's hospitality. So
A bunch of robes. No.
a lot of things that hotels deal with,
Yeah.
you may have to deal with as well when it comes
Okay.
to short.
But that's just
short-term
part of the
rental.
game there.
It's part of the business.
All right, cool. All right, well, Jason, I know you own multiple properties in this region that you currently have as short-term rentals. Talk to me about how you saw this opportunity. How did you say, yes, I want to go into the space of short-term rentals, as opposed to, you are already a successful rehabber, and other real estate facets in real estate. How did you say, I like this opportunity, or I see this as an opportunity, to say someone that has not a clue
Sure.
on what a short-term rental is?
I think for me and for my wife and I should say, it's the passive income. We've always been after the pursuit of passive income.
Cash flow,
passive income.
Yep.
So yes, you have the 300-unit multifamily projects, but to get into those projects, it requires a lot.
Yep.
It takes a lot less to get involved in the cash flow of short-term rentals / corporate rentals. Airbnb takes a lot less capital to get involved in those cash flow situations.
Yep.
So that's what I was really looking at, is the corporate rental, short-term rental, monthly income is usually 2 to 3 times what you can get on a long-term rental.
Okay.
And you're also able to keep the property in better condition because you're cleaning it 2, 3, 4, 5 times a month.
Absolutely.
And you know about the handyman issues
right away,
and they don't turn into a contractor issue.
Yes.
Which costs you more money.
Absolutely.
So the
$100 issue doesn't turn into a $1,000 issue.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the cash flow, passive income, the barrier to entry,
Yeah.
I think is important,
Absolutely.
and it makes it very, very attractive.
Yeah, because Jason and I have had this conversation several times, and I know I like it because as someone that, I just recently bought a couple of multifamily projects, and I immediately thought, well, let me turn these into short-term rentals because it's less wear and tear on my property was the main thing.
Yeah.
Because I've owned rentals before, and they just absolutely destroy them.
Yeah, it can happen.
When this way, I know myself or my management is getting into this property, once a week or every couple days, or at least every 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I can see what's going on, and I know it's not tore up. And now I can even make my properties a little more nicer.
Yes.
So now they hold their value.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. That's people are looking for comfort. When you have a guest, whether you're going to a hotel, Airbnb, VRBO, home away, whatever platform you're on,
Yeah.
people are a guest, so they're
Absolutely.
looking for comfort.
Yeah.
And so you really want to offer
Home away from home.
Yeah, you want to offer your guests a really comfortable experience.
Yep.
Is really what the goal is.
Absolutely.
And that's what we really strive for, is to make sure our guests really enjoy, feel comfortable, feel safe, and have a great time.
Yeah, because I know the unit I'll probably be done renovating here in the next week or two. I made it so nice that I would go stay in it.
Right, exactly.
But that's the point.
Yes.
So now I know when I have a guest come and they see the granite and the subway tile and the beautiful plank flooring.
Yes.
I know if I have even relatives come into town, I can feel comfortable. Hey, and they can't stay in my house, but you can go stay at the Airbnb.
Yes, absolutely.
And I feel like I'm not shorting them, right?
No, they're getting a great experience. And if you have family, we usually travel with our kids.
Yeah.
Rather than having a hotel room, we have a house.
Correct.
And we're a tall family.
Yeah.
So everyone can stretch out, have their own bedroom. If we feel like cooking, we can cook. If we want outdoor space, we can go outdoor.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable for roughly the same amount of money that you would spend on a hotel room, and you really get in the neighborhood. You're not necessarily in a commercial district all the time.
Yes.
You're in an actual neighborhood, but you can walk or drive or take a short, Uber or Lyft ride.
Sure.
To the
Maybe you
commercial
rent a car.
district or rent a car and have a good time. So you get a real feel for the neighborhood because you're not necessarily always in a commercial district.
All right, so let's talk about that, because a lot of people think Airbnb is terrible tenants. They're coming in to party and trash your house, and they're coming to set your house on fire. What's been your experience as far as the tenants that you've had, or short-term rental guests that you have? Because I have to get out of that mindset. They're not tenants. They're guests.
They're guests.
Tell me about the experience you've had with the guests and the type of guests that you're seeing in your short-term rentals.
This is probably the most exciting part for me about being involved in short-term rentals. It takes me back to my days of being a financial planner, where I learned about so many different industries and the way that people make money. That was probably the best thing about being a financial planner, other than helping people. Is I learned how people make money all different kinds of ways.
Absolutely.
Being involved in the short-term rental, corporate rental opportunity, what's really occurred is we'll have corporate rentals. So there's one corporation that came and booked with us 3 times in a row. I guess they were having some sort of corporate training going on. We also have construction workers that come and stay, that are working on construction projects for 2, 3, 4 weeks or so. They're some of the best tenants. Some of the best guests, I should say.
All right, there we go.
Some of the best guests, I should say.
Got you doing
because
it.
they leave at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
They're gone all day.
Yeah.
They usually eat dinner out somewhere.
Yeah.
And they get back, it's probably 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they relax, watch some TV.
Go right to bed.
And then if there's a repair, they don't even call you. They just do the repair themselves because
they're contractors.
So they're great. We've had families come and stay that had a loved one in the hospital. Mm-hmm. We've had, spring training's right around the corner. Major League Baseball spring training's right around the corner.
Yeah. We
have properties that are close to the Yankees spring training facility.
Yeah.
So you have that.
Mm-hmm.
We're near the Raymond James football stadium, so you have USF football weekends.
Yeah.
You have Tampa Bay Buccaneer weekends. You have concerts.
Absolutely.
We're near commercial districts. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Golf courses.
They fly in to see Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
Absolutely. Then you have corporate conventions as well.
Yep.
We had international guests come and stay at our properties. We've had weddings. We've had graduations. Ladies, we've had bachelorette parties. We've had a wide variety of
wow. Okay. So
guests.
So the guests are not these crazy people that people are thinking that actually come and stay at a short-term rental.
No, at all. Like I said, I think property management is very, very important.
And a lot of the sites do a good job on screening these particular people that come through. So
absolutely.
All right, great. All right, so let's move on. So, what do you think is the opportunity for Airbnb or short-term rentals and corporate rentals going forward? Because I know my thing was always, my prior thinking before you and I got together was always just get a bunch of single family houses and just get the cash flow and sign them up in a lease for 2 or 3 years and just collect the cash flow. But the philosophy is kind of changing. The way of thinking is changing. I mean, just like anything else in this world.
Absolutely. I mean, most business people say, follow the money. So 2 examples I like to give. You have these, multifamily real estate developers that are building 200, 300, 400 unit complexes.
Yeah.
Well, now you have short-term rental companies saying, I'll take 100 of those units.
Yep.
I'm going to turn them into short-term rentals.
Yep.
And now the lenders that are looking at financing these construction projects, they're seeing, short-term rental investor taking down 100 units as a capital infusion into the financial package that these developers are using.
Absolutely.
So now you have a 300 unit apartment complex, you have, 200 tenants,
Yes.
but then you have 100 guests.
Yes.
And that's a new philosophy that we're seeing, not all over the country, but all over the world.
So let me kind of unpack that so everyone understands. So when someone first builds an apartment complex, they have a ton of debt, and them just putting a tenant in, say, a 2-2, collecting $1,200 or $1,300 a month, is a lot different than them putting a guest in the property and collecting $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
When now these guests can still use all their amenities, pools, Wi-Fi,
Fitness center.
gym, and all this kind of stuff, and now they're getting like double, and pretty much double or maybe even triple sometimes
right.
on this unit that would normally take them a payback period of 5 years, and now it's bringing it down maybe to two and a half.
Correct. It's absolutely. That's going on not just in our country, but it's going on all over the world.
Yeah.
Another thing is a lot of the hotel companies have either entered the short-term rental space, i.e.
Yep.
Marriott,
Yep.
or they're buying a controlling interest in a short-term rental platform.
Yes.
So Expedia is in the game.
Yep.
You have other hotels that have bought, a lot of ownership. So the hotel,
Expedia, Trivago, Kayak.
get involved. Absolutely.
Yeah, and people, just so you can understand, this is all possible because of technology, and it's pretty much changed the whole landscape. I mean, if you're still thinking the old way of how you want to have rental or short-term or have cash flow, how you want to have cash flow or passive income, this is the new way of doing it. I mean, we were just discussing offline. You said your property manager had someone in Chicago that had a ton of rentals that was just like a pain in the behind.
Yeah.
And they took them over. They used technology and
converted them to short-term rentals. Yeah.
And now it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. They took a long-term rental portfolio and converted them to a short-term rental portfolio. But the key attribute I'll give to the owner of those properties was not to go with a long-term, tenant property management type company, but actually go with a hospitality short-term rental property management company, because it's two totally different worlds.
Two totally different worlds.
And I think that's what's made it a success, in my opinion.
And he was smart enough to see the vision and not to hold back on his old way of thinking, and by doing that was able to really increase his cash flow or his passive income and really just kind of sit back now.
Right, and get his time back.
Get his time back.
Right.
Get his time back, as well as now, I'm sure he's making more money, which is allowing him to do more things, probably invest in more short-term rentals.
Absolutely. In the way that we really look at the growth and opportunity in this industry, the last numbers that I've been privy to, because Airbnb is still a private company, they haven't gone public yet, if they ever go public, is the fact that
buy you some stock if they do now.
400 million users on their platform with only 7 million listings. That's a supply and demand issue.
It is.
So you have travelers that are, demanding basically more of a, short-term rental type opportunity when they travel. So whether it's
all right, so let's talk about that, because I know your wife Jules is a designer, and how important, because like I'll go on Airbnb and you'll see some that's like wah wah wah, but I mean like some of your properties and like some of mine are really nice.
Yeah.
And talk about the difference and why that makes a difference.
We had some very terse conversations with our property managers, and they flat out told us, like, you really need to understand how these properties need to be outfitted. And they said, you guys are phenomenal at renovating the properties. You've done over 100 renovations in your real estate careers,
Mhm.
but you have to learn how to furnish these properties to make them look comfortable and inviting.
To maximize your profit.
Right, and not
There's a science to this.
right, and not necessarily make it look like a hotel room.
Yeah.
Because people are looking for something usually different than a
Yeah.
hotel room. So it's okay to have
a nice home.
a dresser that's not brand new and shiny. It can have some nicks. It can have some character.
Mhm.
You know, you can get a little eclectic. You know, you can mix and match some things because it's supposed to look like a home,
Yes.
not a
Hotel
hotel
room.
room or a timeshare or something of that nature.
Yes.
So I'm not involved in design.
Yes.
So I got to give all the credit to the ladies that really have learned and know how to, put these properties together.
Mhm.
They've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And you see that comfort, you feel that comfort, and you also want to take professional photographs.
Very
So
important.
hire a very, very good
Yeah.
professional photographer.
Don't spend all that money, do a phenomenal job, and go shoot it with your iPhone.
Because people are making decisions on photo. Just
Unless you got like a new nice iPhone. No?
Right. Well, when we book hotel rooms, what do we look at? We look at the photos, right?
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't people look at the photos if they're booking a short-term rental or a corporate rental? They're gonna do the same.
They're absolutely going to do
Right.
the same.
So
Yeah.
you want to make sure you have a very good photographer that can present the property in its truest and best form.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about how you find the deal.
Absolutely.
How do you find these properties there, Jason?
This is where the 24 years of experience really comes to play. You have to build a team, and just like with buying, renovating, and selling properties for years, you build a relationship with wholesalers, you build a relationship with realtors, you build a relationship with landlords, property managers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
So
All right.
we receive deals from wholesalers
Mhm.
that it may not work as a wholesale deal, but it'd be a great short-term rental.
Yep.
Realtors send us deals as well.
Yep.
Property managers, we speak to property managers about deals as well.
Yep.
So it's really the same pool of people we've always worked with,
Yep.
but it's training them and helping them understand really what you're looking for.
Yes.
And so that's been.
So you've kind of
great
built a
avenue for us.
criteria for them. So now
Absolutely.
when they send you a property for a short-term rental, they know exactly what you're looking for.
Correct. So we'll give them the minimum bed and bath count.
Yep.
We'll give them the range of square footage. I give them the zip codes.
Okay.
They know we want to be
The zip codes that you would like to buy in.
right, because the zip codes are near the unlimited amenity that I
Yep.
spoke about.
Yep.
So that's kind of our process, and AirDNA is a great tool
Yes.
to use for projections,
Absolutely.
understanding
To know what
that potential property
are
could do.
going for over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, so not much time left, but I just want to look at our board here and just kind of go into, we'll call this a lightning round. Guests versus tenants.
Yes.
Pros and cons. Go.
Guests require some hand holding at times,
Okay.
so you have to be ready for the hospitality angle of it.
Yes.
Whether it's linens, whether it's where's the coffee pot, where's the plates, where it's.
But you don't deal with any of that. Just to be clear, his
property
management,
company.
property management deals with all that.
Absolutely.
So you don't get a phone call in the middle of the night. Hey, I need a pillow, Jason.
No, we're not doing that.
All right.
So it's hospitality, so you have to be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Tenants, obviously, your long-term tenants,
Yes.
you may hear from them once a month.
Yes.
If they're paying on time, you may hear from them once or twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Just really all depends.
Okay.
But the guest avenue, I would say you have to be prepared for the hospitality slant of what you're doing.
So you have to be a little more proactive when you have a guest. But the reason that you'd rather have a guest than a tenant, this goes right into our next question in our lightning round here. Short-term cash flow versus long-term cash flow. So let's talk about that. Short-term cash flow.
Right. So short-term cash flow, you may have a 2.0 to 3.0 debt coverage ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So here's your
Debt to income ratio.
Debt to income ratio. So here's your monthly mortgage payment, or here's your lease payment if you're master leasing.
Yep.
And then your income could be anywhere from 2 to 3 times that amount of money
Okay.
on a short-term rental / corporate rental.
Absolutely. Long-term rental.
Long-term rental, when you underwrite these deals, most lenders want you to be at a 1.25 or better, 1.3 debt service coverage ratio.
Yes. So let's unpack that real quick. 1.25 minimum versus 2
to 3. Yeah,
two
if you
to
do it right.
3 if you do it right on a short-term rental. So that's basically double or triple the amount of money that you can make on a short-term rental versus a long-term rental.
Absolutely.
With the less wear and tear, a little more property intense. But correct me if I'm wrong. The property management charge is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same amount of money.
It's the same amount of money.
It just depends upon how you want to spend.
It's just like, do you want to double your money or not? Or do you want to stick with the old way of thinking, right?
And to make that simplistic, I would like to show some of our guests today a very simple cash flow formula I learned from some of the gurus.
All right, yeah. Let's do it. Let's go to the board.
Very simplistic. So what I like is very simple. You have 8 weekend days per month, at least. At least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If your mortgage or lease payment is $1,600 a month, these 8 days times you're getting $200 a night. Weekends you usually make more than you do during the week.
Just like in a hotel.
Yeah, just like an hotel. So this is your $1,600 right here. This $1,600
pays your mortgage.
Pays your mortgage or your lease payment.
Or your lease payment. Yep.
That's only 8 days.
Yeah.
You have at least another 22, 23 days a month to cover your property management fee, utilities, lawn care.
All right, we're getting some real good knowledge here now. Ting ting.
So this is a formula that I use like right off the bat, and there's 2 gurus that I follow that use the same, and it's a very good rule of thumb.
Solid.
Right. And when it comes to having a mortgage, you have property taxes and property insurance.
Yep, PITI.
When it comes to a lease, you don't have property taxes.
All you got is a lease payment.
Property insurance. All you have is a lease payment.
Yep.
So you can determine which model is, better for you. And
Absolutely.
You can do half and half. You can buy 5, lease 5. Buy 10, lease 10. You can do whatever works for you. But this is like my general rule of thumb.
That's the basic formula. All right, good deal.
It's really that simple.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. All right, guys. So if you have any other questions about short-term rentals or corporate rentals, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Jason will make sure we get all the information over to Jason. He'd be happy to answer. He's a busy guy, but he'll answer some questions for you.
Absolutely.
Hey, until the next time, guys, thanks for coming, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Until next time, guys. Ting ting.
Okay.